sold for $300,000 when it's going to be worth like $5 million in 10 years. I could have like, it was just God gave me a really hard hand. I had nobody down that would be down to work. I had nobody I trusted in my corner. There was nobody at the time that would have been, except my girlfriend. I would have had to like really commit to my girlfriend who had already cheated on me once and was back then she was not 18 and she was refusing to give up Snapchat. Because that's what they do. They use Snapchat. I was 21 when she was 18. I was institutionalized and I grew up alone on a mountain. I never used any form of social media. I would just use it to meet up with people and have fun outside. These guys were managing like hundreds of different relationships on Snapchat where they're talking to hundreds of different people every day. I'd look on her phone and she was one of those ones where she's having like 7 different conversations a night and 5 of them were with guys. And you look up and they had like hearts or the guy was sending her hearts and she was not sending the guy hearts. So she was keeping around guys that might have been her roster or her backups or her validators. And I was watching Steph is Cold. I was watching MJ Get Right and Alpha Male Strategies that were telling me about female nature and people that are for the streets. So I had like the hottest girl in town and I hated this bitch. Because I knew every time she came to my house, she's opening up and having mental sex, social sex with 6 other dudes. And I'm in there making beats trying to save the world. So I was not about to commit to working 12 hours a day and have her work full time so that we could buy this $300,000 house for my family. I wish that I had saved it and just made the right call at the right time and told Skip, just wait a couple years and I will get you that money and we will get it in crypto, like actually living up to my potential and being a king. Instead, I was depressed and traumatized and I let it slip out of my fingers. And then we lost a castle and we lost another castle and we lost our entire hold in the community. And then they degraded us to nothing. And then we've just been homeless bums that were meant to rule over everybody, that are just walking around enjoying life and how beautiful it is out here. My dad had a pheasant that would follow him around, and he had dogs and he has birds around him, hummingbirds, cats. He walks around with tons of animals. And I walk around with birds and I see deer all the time. And I feed raccoons and get them out of trash cans. And one time I went fishing with my indigenous friend and none of the fish were biting. They were trying to bite the hook. And then I saw that there was a big fish that had a giant hook in his mouth that kept scaring the fish away. And then eventually he turned around and looked me right in the eyes. Like he looked me like this. And he bit the hook. And he already had a giant one. So that fish literally was like, if you're not going to kill my friends, and if you're not going to stop, I might as well just do it. I watched that fish look me right in the eyes, and it killed itself so that we could eat. And I went home and fed it to my cat. We didn't even take the hook out of its mouth. So I've never been able to fish again since I saw that conscious fish that knew what we were doing, that saved all of its friends, and then sacrificed itself. And looked at me with hatred. I've never been. I don't want to fish ever again. I don't want to hunt or fish again. If they're killing cows, I'll eat the beef. If they're killing chickens, I'll eat some chicken. But I'm not gonna kill them. I'm not going to do it. Giant farm out there that's killing cows for beef, and there's beef at the store they're going to throw out if nobody eats it. I'm going to eat it. But I'm not going to raise a cow just to kill it. I'm not going to betray it like that. I don't want that cow to die thinking, why did you do this to me? And then realize that its whole life was just to be consumed by somebody else.